Okay, so for this week's post and free mini lesson, I'm going to go over some basic and general left hand technique that you might want to follow if you're going to be doing solos or leads or working on scales, and again, just some basic technique for that lead playing, single note, single string stuff. It's kind of a follow-up from the last post I had, which was all about right hand technique. So we're going to switch it over to left hand and talk about some things. And really what we're searching for is left hand efficiency, okay? Little movement as possible with the left hand and staying above our strings, like ready to attack no matter where I'm at, okay? So I have some scales that you can print out. We're going to work through two of them, and you can print them out, so it's in the blog post there. Click it, PDF file, and print it out for free, and you can work with me. And the first one we're going to do is D major, okay? And it looks like this. Okay? And we're just going to talk about our left hand. So the biggest thing, again, is, efficiency. We don't want to make big movements. When I see students doing this and making big leaps, and it's hard for me to even kind of do it right since my hand is so trained. I've done it for so long. I don't want to make big movements and big leaps, okay? I want it to be like, see how I see a lot of people come from the side, and then they have to reach to the next note, and I don't want that because I might be playing fast. But if my hand is like this, right above the strings, my third finger is just right there, my first finger is ready, second finger, same with my pinky. So again, not from the side, then my pinky's got to go way up there, and my pinky comes way off when I go back down. That's not what I want. That's just going to hurt me. It's going to make my playing sloppy. And so no matter where I'm at on my fretboard, if you look and see, my thumb comes with me. So my thumb and my first finger, or second finger, are kind of together no matter where I'm at on my fretboard. And that's just, I'm kind of over-exaggerating, but if you see some guys play, they usually like this, the thumb's not back here or way over top or anything. No, it's right around here, no matter where I'm at. So that will allow me to go from here to here. So you got even my shoulder and my elbow dropped. Come back down, I want to shift with my fourth finger to the fifth fret. Open E. See, like my hand's just sitting above the strings. I'm already in the second fret over here, fourth fret over here with my third finger. Oops. My pinky was pretty close to the fifth fret. Shift all the way up there with your first finger on the 7th, 9, 10. And shift with my pinky. And those shifts, they're going to be difficult to play fast, so those are the spots that you may have to practice, when you start to get up to tempo, is the shifts. That takes some time. But I guess just what I'm just trying to get at mostly is keeping my fingers above the strings or over top of them, kind of ready to attack. They're already there, my pinky's already there, my first finger's already coming into place, second finger's already in the second fret. Okay, so that's a big one. The next tip that I really recommend is something I learned from guitarist Russ Barenberg. And that is keeping my fingers placed down on the fret and leaving them there if I'm going to come back to them. And so these scales, I'm going to, if you start to mess around in them, you're going to go back to the note that you were just at. Oop. So, right here, I had those 2 fingers still down because if I go back to it, it's already there in place, as opposed to some people will like take their first finger off, but they might, you know, if you're playing a tune, you might come right back to that note. So, look at, and all 3 of these fingers are down with my pinky on the 5th fret playing that B string. Oh, sorry, getting a little blurry. So when I come back down, all those fingers are still in place. It's not, nope. Makes for less air, less movement, and more efficiency. So you could just sit there on like the high string, the 5th fret, and just all 3 fingers are down. Now if you watch fiddle players, they do this all the time. This is how they're taught from day one, is they keep their fingers down in that position if they're going to come back to it. So when I come, see how my fingers are ready to go. They're ready to the next spot. My first finger's already coming back in there. Oh. Keep missing that G string. See, my fingers are still there if I want to go back down. Okay, so I think you get the idea, but keeping my fingers down, again, if I'm going to come back to them, it just helps, and I actually have more strength, I get more clarity out of my note, and I know it's going to be fretted, and you know, again, I might miss it if I do that. So for that tip and the other one, I'm going to do one more scale. I'm going to do a G scale, but I'm going to do it closed. I'm going to do a closed G scale, 3 octaves, and this one especially, I gotta be over top of my strings when I go up and down. There's no time to do this movement. You know, I want to be all the way up and down. So I'll do that again. You know, I notice my pinky, I've always tried to work on my pinky because sometimes it kind of comes off and comes off a little farther than I'd like, but still down in case I go back to it. In fact, my first finger in that little riff, or just up and down the scale, the first finger never came off the strings. My fingers are already in place there. So yeah, I mean, this kind of hurts my hand a little bit if I'm not warmed up, like to be this big stretch across my strings. But if you really want to get into soloing and you want to play cleanly, and you know, especially if you were trying to look to build speed, again, these are just basic things you should practice and keep in mind, because otherwise you're just hurting yourself in the long run. Like the example I gave is when you drive a car, you know, from town to town, you go from point A to point B as straight as possible. And that's exactly what I want to do on guitar, note to note, and the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Whoops. Okay, so I hope this helps. I just want to give you an idea of kind of what to look for on the left hand. And once you kind of master it with the scales, go ahead and apply it to a tune you play and be like, oh, I always go back to that note. I should just keep my finger there, you know? Like that makes sense. I should just keep it there, and you'll notice a better note. You'll get a cleaner note more often. And you know, it took me a while to kind of train my brain. I've been playing for almost 10 years when someone told me just that little tip, keep your fingers placed down. I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, of course. And I was even classically trained, but it just didn't make quite as much sense until someone else told me. I keep messing up. I need to practice. Okay? So there's your quick tip of the day. I hope you learned something. All right, for cleaner, faster playing. All right, guys, take care. Thanks.